Hey, Relio.
Ken, how are you?
Great,
Good to
great.
see you.
Same here. Thank you.
Great.
Come on in.
Thank you. We're here today at More Fun Sports Cards at 706 Joliet Street in Dyer, Indiana, with my longtime friend and proprietor here, Ken Zykowski. So we're going to come in and take a look at the store.
Welcome.
Yep. If you want to spin around, take a quick look. Just kind of show what he's got. A great selection, and we're going to talk about the store and cards.
Great.
So, how long have you been here, Ken?
At this location, 15 years.
Okay. And in the business?
Over 40 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes me feel old too. We'll talk about it more. We're going to sit down with Ken, talk about the 71 set that I'm building and, the great card quest. Welcome to the first remote show. We're going to start with the beginning of the set. And we're going to sit down in a little bit here and talk about the old times and new times and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, welcome, and here we go.
Good.
So, as we said before, we're here at More Fun Sports Cards in Dyer, Indiana, with Ken Zykowski, longtime friend, owned this forever. So, kind of give us a history of how you started the store. It's fascinating. I mean, to be in business 42 years.
Sure,
it's
yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah, thank you, really. Well, this started as a childhood hobby of mine. I grew up in Chicago in a town called Roseland, and just loved reading and collecting comic books and baseball cards, sports cards, and non-sport cards. So I vividly remember having comics and cards in the mid-1960s, and when they had wrappers and gum and all of that. And so at a very early age, I started doing this as a business. It was before I could drive. I just started collecting and going to shows. There was a comic book convention that was held every third Sunday at the YMCA on Wabash Street in Chicago. And from a real young age, I got to experience dealers and collectors and buying and selling comics, cards, nostalgia collectibles. And it was really just a joy, and I fit right into it. As years went on, I opened up my first shop in 1980. And well, here we are now, 42 years later. So, and then throughout that time, I, bought and sold, millions of cards. Millions.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. I mean, I first started darkening your door, I think, in 1980. I was a sophomore in high school. That gives my age away, so don't tell anyone. But yeah, it's been a fun hobby, and you've always been great to deal with. You took care of us back in the days when we were buying cards we didn't even know we were buying, but we did. So yeah, and thank you for letting me take your store up here and take your time. And but
My
I
pleasure.
think the 71 building of sets kind of cool. It's unique. So you've been in this long time, and you used to build. You told me you used to build a lot of sets.
Yes.
Of 71. So kind of what's your take? What's your history with the 71s? Because it is unique, being black, first black bordered. All that kind of stuff.
Sure. So over the years, I bought many collections from individuals. I bought collections for a lot of different reasons. I mean, sometimes people just get to a point where they either need money or they don't want to collect anymore, or sadly, people get have health issues or they pass on where their collections become available. And so we've actively bought collections of cards from 1950s, 60s, 70s. The 1971 set is probably the most challenging to build because of the black borders. I mean, condition-wise, it's a condition-sensitive set with many short prints. The high numbers are very difficult to get, and with all the different series. Plus, there are great rookies like Steve Garvey, Simmons, and again, some of those high numbers like Roberto Clemente, and even to find a nice Banks card would be quite challenging. But I have had the opportunity to build numerous sets, probably a dozen sets over that 40-year period, and I built them anywhere from lower grade sets like VG Excellent to like I have owned near mint sets, which have been quite extraordinary and difficult to find. And but typically I buy and I resell. And so I don't have any regrets selling them, but I admire your quest for building a high-grade 71 set that would be not only high-grade, but PSA
7 plus.
Encapsulated, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And just so we'll go over this when I do the history of the set and everything, but high number is 644 to 752. Correct?
Yes.
And we'll go over the history of why that is, but it's unique that I think football screwed that up is what happened. They just stopped printing the baseball and said, we're done. So, but we'll go into that more. Yeah, so set building, we could spend a couple minutes on that because I feel like I'm kind of a dinosaur in this particular world. What's your experience? Obviously, you're a store owner and you chose that. What have you seen of set building trends and how have they gone, and they're kind of waning now, would you say?
Sure, yeah. Well, I wouldn't call you a dinosaur, but I mean, you certainly are an exclusive group of advanced collectors that have chosen specifically, something to collect, and it's very challenging. So to collect a set, it used to be the direction that most collectors, sports fans would do, and but it has kind of narrowed down. Most of our collectors or customers that come in today would either be single card collectors. They specify a certain player, possibly a team, whether it be Cubs or Sox or Bears or Hawks, Bulls. But and then a lot of our customers enjoy just buying packs and boxes. And there is the phenomenon of like just ripping boxes, opening up packs, and that legalized gambling type of an atmosphere that goes with that direction of collecting. Yeah.
Well, thanks. All right, Ken. Well, once again, thank you so much for letting me do this in a public setting. That'd be more fun than being in my basement.
Sure.
Like Wayne's World. Don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, longtime friend. We've known each other forever, and he's always fair to deal with. And like I said, if you're out hitting more fun sports cards, Dyer, Indiana.
Thank you so much.
Ken.
Thank you, really.
Undertaker.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Great. Good job.
That was great.
Good job.
That was great.
Wonderful.
Now I get to do the rest of it, so this will be interesting.
Excellent.
All right, got to sign it.
Hey
All
guys, how
right.
you doing?
Hi.
Good, thanks.
Good, thanks, Ken.
My pleasure.
All right, so now here we go. We got a lot of editing to do here. All right, welcome to. You're good. We're in a store. This is great. We're doing just a filming here for YouTube. No big deal. Hi. Welcome to the Great Card Quest. We're here at More Fun Sports Cards, as we said, in Dyer, Indiana. We just had a wonderful interview with the proprietor, Ken Zykowski. You've known forever. And now we're going to talk about the set. The purpose of the Great Card Quest, my first quest, is to build the 1971 Topps Black Beauty set, which is very hard to do, as Ken iterated before, that it's very hard to do because of the borders, chipping, all that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, I've taken it on. I'm going to build, my ultimate goal is to build a master set. So a little history of the set. There's 752 cards in the set. There is what they call high numbers are 644 to 752. Now what that means is they stopped producing them because football came out in the fall. So the last period of 644 to 752 printed about half the production. So basically, that's a hard area to get. I'm closing in on getting all the high numbers first. And then there's a lot of great stars we're going to go through. So as this series continues, I'm going to tell you about the history of the set today. And then we're going to go over the first 25 cards. I've got some of them here.
that I have. I don't have them all, obviously, I don't have the full set. Right now, as of filming this, I'm at about 500 and roughly 540 cards out of 750, and I've got some more coming in the mail. So we're getting there. We're gonna finish this thing, and I hope you all join me with it. Join me with doing this odyssey, this quest. So the set overview. Let's talk about the set itself. First of all, the thing you've got to know is that it's the first black border set. All right, you'll see when I show some examples of the cards. Just so you know, there's 321,807 cards graded by PSA for this set, all the way from ones to nines, a splattering of tens. I'll go over that. Splattering of tens. I'll go over that. And there's basically very hard to get a 10 in this set, as you'll see the numbers. So out of the 321,807 cards graded, 107,210 of them are PSA 7, 120,262 of them are PSA 8, 9,391 are PSA 9, and strikingly, out of the 321,807 cards graded, only 252 are 10s, which is amazingly crazy. That's such a small percentage of 10s. So if you anybody has a 10 out there, find that and get it graded, because it's worth a lot. So that's kind of just the history of the set. It's amazing, and my background on this, let me kind of give you where we're at to build up for this before we get into the 25 cards. I was basically getting into baseball when I was 1971. I was almost 7 years old. So I started buying cards, and all those stars that are in the 71 set are dear to me. And we'll go through them all. Roses in their bench, Clemente. And of that era, my kind of growing into cards from, say, 71 to 78, this is by far, to me, the best set out, and that's varies by opinion. All the other ones are nice too, but I happen to like it. So it brings back a lot of history. So I decided about 15 years ago I was going to build a raw set. Raw means not graded, not encapsulated, just raw set, as Ken talked about before. I decided to build that, and it took me a long time because I didn't really do it hardcore. I would pick up cards here and there. I had a bunch from when I was a kid, probably half the set. So I built the raw set, and a lot of the stars I had are from when I was a kid. So they're all kind of beat up, and it's a decent set. It's probably an X set overall. But I wasn't happy with that, because that's me, as you'll learn. I'm kind of crazy. So I decided I wanted to take the next level and build a graded set. Now, when I first started this, I didn't really know kind of what I was getting into, but it's been an odyssey. So about the last 5 years, this is 2023, so since about 2018, I think my first one I acquired was Hank Aaron, the very first card I got in the graded form. And it was fairly cheap back then. I think it was like $80. Now it's like 400. So I wish I'd have built it all back then. But I moved forward, and I've decided to complete this, and I want the master set. Now the master set, just to give you an idea, the main set's 752, and there's 9 cards that are variant cards. So for example, Boots Day, number 42, has a stadium light behind his ear. They tried to wash that out, and they really tried, but they did it 1971 style. But that card is really hard to get, so that's called a variant. So there's 9 of those. So the real master set is 761. So just so you know, on the Great Card Quest, we're going for the master set. And I have about half of the variant cards that you need for the master set, and I try to pick them up when I see them, but they're not out there too much because there's not a ton of them. So that's kind of the plan and the history. And I hope you find this journey. I call it the race to the finish. We're gonna sprint this thing out, and hope you all follow along with me. I'll be putting out periodic. We're gonna go through the whole set. Next show will be cards 26 through 74, right? That's 50 cards. It'll be the next 50 cards. So we'll go through those, the history. I'll show you which ones I have. If I don't, I'll give you some history on the ones I don't yet. And then, hopefully it'll culminate in the final show, and I get the set together and we can celebrate and pop some champagne. So thank you all for starting this journey with me, and please hit like and subscribe if you can. But let's talk about the first 25 cards. All right. Basically, I'm not going to go through every card, but there's some highlights in the first 25 which I think you'll find interesting. I have some stats and things for you. And I have most of the ones I'm going to talk about. I have here. I think all of them, but. And just so everybody knows going forward, some of these cards are not superstars, but they mean something to me, and some of the cards I go through will mean things to other people. People from Cincinnati will love Davey Concepcion, things like that. So, you know, a lot of these cards are going to be ones that I find cool. Obviously a Cubs and a Sox fan. I'll be wearing the Sox hat probably in the next one. I root for both. And so bear that in mind as we go forward. So let's dive into the first 25 cards. All right, or the highlights of what I think are kind of just not common. It's kind of an interesting story. The first one is the card number 1. It's the World Champions. All right, it's the first card, Baltimore Orioles, card number 1. It's kind of not easy to find in a 7 or higher. Just so you know, there is 262 sevens in the set. And there are 0 PSA 10s, and then a smattering in between. So this is one of 262 cards out there, so it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to have the World Champions in there. I thought they did a good job with that one. The card number 2, and we're not going to go through every card, trust me. Card number 2 is just fascinating to me because if you followed baseball, everybody followed the trials and tribulations of Doc Ellis.
I might be interested.
Okay, Doc Ellis had a story, and he was a heck of a pitcher, but he had some off-the-field issues. This is card number 2. Doc was a right-handed pitcher. There's 144 PSA 7s, and there's 0 PSA 10s. He threw a no-hitter in 1970, and the next day he admitted to the public that he was on LSD. So I just find that fascinating. I thought I'd point it out. That's card number 2 in the set. And he ended up his record 138 wins, 119 losses, and a 3.46 career. So, you know, hey, why not? Now, the next notable card, that in my opinion, is, of course, the big one, Thurman Munson, catcher. All right, he's an all-star rookie. That's the gold trophy you'll see on the bottom there. This is a very hard card to get, generally pricey. There are more, believe it or not, than there are more PSA 8s than there are 7s in this. Weird, but so there are 552 Thurman Munson 7s, and everyone asks, you know, why is there only 144 Doc Ellis and there's 552 Thurman Munson? It's just a simple numbers game. People have sent in more Thurman Munsons to be graded because they're more valuable. So that's pretty much the bottom line. So he was a catcher. He's an all-star rookie. He had 302 in his rookie year and a 989 fielding percentage, which is incredible. And he spent all 10 years in the Yankee uniform. And he was a first-team captain in 1976 to 1979, when he was the first captain since Lou Gehrig. In August of 1979, tragically, he died in a plane crash. He died in a plane crash, which was very sad, and the world missed a good baseball player and a good person.
Easy, Ken, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Now, this one I'm gonna not even go over. I just love George Scott. He was with Boston, the big old hitter. I just thought he was cool. That's one of the cards that you're gonna see that I just think he's cool, and I remember the name, and he was always captivating to me. Another rookie is card number 14, and George Scott was number 9, by the way. Number 14, the Davey Concepcion rookie. Very important card there. He was a heck of a shortstop for the Reds.
If I don't get the hit, he don't get the hit.
He was what they considered the great 8 of the Big Red Machine, so he became one of them. He was later replaced by a newer shortstop, but he had a great run. In 1978, he was the first shortstop to hit 300, above 300 in 65 years for the Reds. So or in that baseball. I'm sorry, not for the Reds. He ended up with 2,326 hits, 950 runs in 19 years. So he had an amazing career, and he is one of the underpinning and good rookies of this set. So getting crazy, and we're getting crazy in this place.
I spent $500.
No, you're good. We're getting crazy. I love it. This is what the fun of doing a live shoot, right? This is the best. I want action. Now the next one, I don't have a lot of details and facts and figures, but this is another rookie, and I used to know this name, Ken Singleton, right? Ken Singleton. He is rookie for the Mets. He was a outfielder, and he had a nice career, but another rookie. So I'm trying to point out the rookies when I can in these initial sets. All right. Here's another one, just because I'm from Chicago, and unfortunately he's in a Phillies uniform for purposes of being a Chicago fan. That's the hat. But Oscar Gamble,
No, thank you.
part of the South Side Hitmen. Oscar Gamble. What a guy. So, anyway, so there's Oscar, and I thought I would point him out. He's card number 23. Ken Singleton's card number 16. All right, and finally, with the last but not least, we have to have a discussion if you're going to talk about the first 25 cards. Card number 20, Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. Amazing, amazing player in his time. Let's talk about Reggie. There's only 514 of his cards, PSA 7. And by the way, David Concepcion, not too many of those either, in the low hundreds. So, the 514 PSA 7s, once again, he's a star, so more people send him in. There's 0 PSA 10s. And he had the moniker Mr. October. Why is that? Not everybody knows. Game 6 of 1977 World Series, he had a 3-run homer to win against the Dodgers. And he just cashed in the postseason. I mean, that's how he made his name. But he was a good player overall. But he really was Mr. Clutch when it came to the playoffs. He was a 14-time All-Star. He led the league in homers 4 times and slugging percentage 3 times. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1993. So that's Reggie. All right. So that's kind of a recap of the first 25 cards. We're going to do the next segment will be the next 50. Look for that going forward. And once again, thank you again to Ken Zykowski for letting me invade his store and get a little action rather than sitting in a small, quiet place. And just so you know, these cards are in holders. And I wanted to point this out because I really like them. I don't know if you could see this, but Superior Fit sleeves. And there's a sign right over here at www.superiorfitsleeves.com. They do an amazing job. To me, I've used various different kinds of PSA only, fitting only sleeves, and these I think to me fit the best, and they are durable, and they have a premium one which is even thicker, which I'll replace once I finish the set. I will replace them all with premium covers. So until then, I'm beating them up over my Banana boxes. So so thank you for being this Odyssey, and in the future I'll take a panoramic view of the cards as they sit right now, because we're up to box 6. We have 6 of those boxes that hold 100. I put 100 in a box, and we'll take a shot of that and show you eventually. And then also you'll see that I'm going to grab this real quick. This is, if you want to go, I put all my cards on the PSA Set Registry. It's kind of neat. It has pictures of the whole set and delineates what they have. And here are the URLs for those. And I'll also put this in the bottom of the YouTube here. If you want to click on those, you can actually go to the regular set and the master set and actually see the cards I have. I have pictures on most of them. If I don't, they'll be there shortly. So go ahead and check that out, so you legitimately see that I do have these cards and not just making it up. But everyone have a great day, great week, great month, great year. And once again, thank you for tuning in, and hit subscribe and like, and we'll see you next time.